Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Red Pill Tamales, baby boy. It's your boy Chingo Bling. What's up, man? We got producer Rob in the building.
What it do, everybody? Long time no chat to.
Hell yeah, man. I just got back from California. Shout out to everybody came out to the shows. Beautiful theater, historic theater. They turned it into the Covina Laugh Factory. Um, couldn't ask for a better weekend. I mean, sure, we could have sold it out, but hey, it's a new club. Um, And I jumped on a couple podcasts while I was out there. Shout out to American Cholo. Shout out to Rhodium Radio. A lot of good feedback on those. And my next stop is San Diego, California. Pull up on your boy. Drop the Mic Comedy Club. It's also a new club, man. Whole bunch of new first time. Mighty Soul will be with me as well. If there's any ladies from her world, any her soldiers, pull up on us. How you been, brother?
In San Diego, California. Good, man. Hey, were you an Anchorman fan of those movies, Anchorman and Anchorman 2?
Yeah, I mean, I like Will Ferrell. Yeah, I think I only saw part one though.
Okay, yeah. I don't think I watched part 2 either. Just I don't think it would live up to the hype.
I didn't even know they made a part two, bro. To be honest.
Exactly. That's why it wasn't that good, right? Good, man, except last night, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I was like, man, I'm hot. And I turned the AC down more than I tried to go back to bed, and I couldn't go back to bed. And I was progressively getting hotter and hotter, and my throat started to hurt. And the first thing I could think was, do I have Omicron BA1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
It
took
sound like
some,
you can. Sound like you're gonna start rapping. So what happened? You took Mucinex?
I just took some Mucinex, man, and like let some of this, congestion kind of drain or whatever. And I feel fine now. But last night, dude, you ever feel so hot that you're cold?
So hot that you're cold.
Yeah.
You mean like body chills?
Yes.
Yeah, but for some reason I don't associate body chills with I'm hot. I just associate body chills with I feel I'm cold and I want to put a hoodie on and sweat out whatever I got.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened, right? Like you know that you need to sweat it out, but also like I'm kind of shivering. And am I cold or am I not cold? I don't know.
Dude, I know I managed to bring up my tonsils every time. And guess what? Um, I don't know, man. Like every time I've had the Rona, it's pretty much on par with what I would have all the time with my tonsils.
Mm,
Like it when they'd get infected and you got the fever and the body chills and all that crap.
yeah.
So, está cabrón.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a 24-hour bug. I feel fine. I feel better now than I did last night. So we'll see. But yeah, man, how goes it? How's the road been? I know you've been a busy man.
Man, extremely busy, bro. Like just man, I kind of knew it was going to be tricky, but just mentally I was not ready. When I did Ontario, flew into like New Mexico, that was an entire day of debacle travel. And then next day drove to Odessa, next day drove to Austin. That little run right there kind of beat me up. And I do not envy people that are on these extravagant tours, man. I mean, tour buses are way more comfortable, I'm sure, than road trips. But
That's what I think of all the time. I saw there's this video that I've been seeing on my feed or my like explore feed. It's of Bert pulling up to some venue and somebody was shooting an ad for a totally separate thing, right? And the guy was flying a drone and Bert happened to be walking into the venue when the drone was going through the building, the whatever theater he was doing. So then he found where they were filming from in the room and asked the guy to shoot the intro for his tour or whatever. And you see the bus and all that, but that's why I brought it up because he's constantly on those bus tours. And have you ever done it? You've never done a comedy bus tour, have you?
no, no. But hey, he's getting paid big bucks, so I'm sure you could stop at Whole Foods and get you get you some what is it? Those greens and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
probably load up on some IV, go stop, get a little IV thing going, probably bring a trainer with you. I don't know. I'm sure it still beats you up, but maybe I'm just getting old, bro. Like you just start staying up late or there's like some drinks involved or whatever. Next thing you know, you're just like wrecked.
What did you do for speaking of? What did you do for your birthday? I know you just had a birthday.
I traveled. I flew.
So
we
you
haven't we haven't done anything. I
oh,
mean, they sang me happy birthday at the show, but and my wife flew out. My wife flew out to Cali. And really to work. It was really to work. I was feeling kind of under the weather myself, so we really just couldn't do a whole bunch. Just kind of like sleep in for once,
Yeah.
you know, order takeout, just very basic stuff. But yeah, I literally traveled my entire birthday. Made it to California because Papi had shows to promote. It's like, hey, I know you want to kick it with your family and shit on your birthday, but you're canceled, sir, and you ain't selling out. So you need to hop on that plane.
Well, man, I've been excited to catch up with you about just what's everything that's going on, and how do you approach the things that are going on in the news and in the world while you're on tour, or like while you're traveling so much? Like, do you try to not just keep up with it, but does it get brought up in these different cities that you visit, or does it kind of like go under the radar?
Um, I mean, like Trump's mugshot, obviously,
Yeah, of course.
that's like a big deal. Because both sides were like celebrating.
Yeah.
Like couldn't wait to rock a shirt with his mug on it. I'll hop on like social media and just kind of like, because sometimes you just got to kill time and you just want to procrastinate, right? You know,
Yeah.
you got probably paperwork and you brought mail in your backpack. You should probably sit down and open up all your mail. But no, instead you go look at like, oh look, Charlemagne the God. Oh wow, Breakfast Club, they're saying a thing. Or oh, what did Earthquake post? What did Willie D post? Like people just like, see, white privilege. That's why he got out on bond. And it's like, wow, it literally is two movies on the same screen. Like a lot of a lot of folks that are, I guess, just vote blue no matter who, or just, in a news bubble and can't possibly fathom entertaining the idea that somehow things are being politicized and it's a witch hunt against the orange one. It just it's trippy to see, like man, I wish I could just tell you like, hey, like this is a huge red flag and a warning. Like you try to tell people this is literally third world country stuff, like Latin America or whatever these little countries be doing when they like, oh, okay, that's my political rival. Cool. Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use lawfare, and I'm gonna do I'll do it behind the guise of corruption. I'm knocking out corruption. It's like, no, bro, that's literally your rival who's gonna be running against you, who is like kicking ass and like half the country loves. And it's like, no, no, no. Brazil just needs a corruption cleanse, or whatever these little like Eastern European, or like, I don't know, maybe Putin. That's some shit Putin probably has done. I know I think Xi Jinping, he like to be about his power like that. And I know we're on Zoom, so please forgive me on what I'm saying.
The technology overlords, please forgive
Yeah.
us for speaking truths.
Yeah.
So speaking of the mugshot and everything, well, I guess before we get to the mugshot, before that had happened, it was the RNC debates. Did you catch highlights of that? Did you watch any of it?
I just saw the highlights of like you know, DeSantis doing awkward stuff. I guess what's her name? Nikki Haley being all about how, she's a woman and Israel. Vivek getting a lot of shine because, he gave sharp answers. Mike Pence is an idiot. Chris Christie's dumb. That's like the summary that was assigned to me.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Even if you just watch the highlights, you can kind of get all that anyway. So I guess here's a question for you, because ever since, and we talked about Vivek early on when he first started catching steam, and we were kind of like, yeah, no, this guy's kind of really coming out there, getting some shine, he's getting attention. And then, 2-3 months have gone by, and now all of a sudden people are like industry plant almost kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
That he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, pharmaceutical, like shady pharmaceutical past, and
Yeah.
like George Soros connections.
So what is your take on that as far as like, the biotech company? And I had to go do some digging too, because the more people would talk about these things, you're like, okay, well, let me just go see what I can find real quick. I'm not going to spend days investigating this guy's past, but he did have that company that wasn't profitable, that had a spike in share, like a share spike, took a bunch of money from that, and then made his millions, essentially his first, whatever it was, 10, 15 million. I don't remember if it was that much. And then now he's like, I'm a self-made millionaire and I'm this, that, and the other. And truth was it wasn't a profitable company and he really wasn't doing all that great, allegedly, just based off what I read. But I wanted to see if you knew anything about that or had any thoughts on that.
Um, like Juan Perez was like, man, I really like Vivek, and I'm pretty sure somebody somewhere has like a list of reasons as to like why it might not be a good idea. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be seeing a lot of that, like on the Twitter feed, man. It's an interesting exercise or experiment on how even narratives and hit pieces can be created on the right. Like it's not just the left that has influencers being paid. You know what I'm saying? Like man, like the DeSantis thing seemed really good. A lot of people still really, really like DeSantis, but obviously all the little hit pieces against him are pretty influential in terms of like them just pointing things out, like, oh, he seems really great at XYZ, but in reality, and same thing with Trump. There's like a bunch of people that they might be paid DeSantis people, or they just might be never Trumpers or whatever, right? Where it's like, this guy, Trump, he's just a pharmaceutical rep. Like, he says he didn't want to lock us down, but he still locked us down. You know what I mean? It's just it's like same tyranny, same letdown, but under a different guise or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, how much of that was just deep state people that he couldn't fire? You know what I mean? But then it was just so crazy to see like Trump type influencers and then people who were like, I'm just tired of Trump's rhetoric or whatever, right? And then like pro DeSantis people, we just need a man like Ron who's gonna save the day. And then you got the anti DeSantis people that are like, man, he really didn't do like, oh, he stood up to Disney, really? Oh, okay, that's what you're basing all this off of. But at the end of the day, man, like, who's gonna be the nominee?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Who's gonna make it past the primary? How much is all this lawfare and RICO type stuff? How much is it gonna help Trump? How much is it gonna hurt Trump? Like what loopholes will they look for next? What's the next indictment gonna be about?
Can you look at the kind of the scope of things right now and say, I think there's an uptick? And I kind of say this because I did see a poll this morning that, when it comes to the black vote, like they were doing the 2020 versus now. And if the election was to be held today, I think there was like a 15+% increase for Trump versus, which was crazy to see on the screen. It was like, I think it was 90% of the black vote went to Biden. And I don't remember where exactly they calculated. I don't know if it was like countrywide, nationwide, or if it was like in certain counties or what it was broken down by. But now it was like 60 something. And then Trump had this huge uptick. So, and then also they went through that neighborhood, right? They went through some hood in Atlanta, I believe. And he had all these people out there and they were like rooting for Trump, essentially. What's your take on the landscape of things with all that happening?
They were going to take a different route, and Trump's like, make a left right here, player. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down.
Slow down.
Yeah.
What he was saying.
Let my window down. Let my window down. Let me holler at my people. Let me chunk the deuce from the moonroof.
I freed Kodak. Kodak.
Deuce out the roof. Look at my African American over there. Look at my African American over there. I mean, it's so tricky, bro, because when you try to base it off of like social media and things that you see, it's like, well, of course, you follow pages like me. It's gonna be like Shaney Rich, the street polar.
Yeah.
That's like happens to find all these black dudes and black chicks that are like, hell yeah, I'm pro Trump, or I voted for him already once, or I'm gonna vote for him again, or it's gonna be my first time voting for him. So it's like, well, you're wearing the Truth Social hat while you're asking him these questions. Like, you know what I mean? How many of these people did you know? So it sure does seem like people like the street cred aspect, or they kind of start to see like, oh, they're just really trying to take him off the political chessboard.
Yeah.
Right. Because those are the two main narratives, man. And it's interesting because this is kind of off subject, but like the podcast that I was a guest on while in California, obviously on American Cholos podcast, like they get pretty political. I mean, they address these topics pretty much like direct. So it was no surprise that like we were having to talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? And I have to be mindful of everybody listening that isn't a member of the TIA. Like they're not on the Discord. They don't know what RPT is. Like they haven't been following some of this stuff. So I got to be mindful and have to like, oh, I think I told you, but man, some lady called me racist.
No.
Yeah, flick me off, call me you racist, FUC, you know the rest.
Where?
In Odessa, we were doing the comedy and music show where it's me, Mario, and Raymond going on before Chris Betta's band. So I went on, I finished my part. Raymond goes up. I kind of come out to mingle in the crowd and stuff. And I was a little understaffed. Like I didn't have like my people helping me, back me up. So yeah, I cussed her out. Like who didn't nobody stop me from cussing her out? Like Rob wasn't there, Marisol wasn't there, Juan Perez wasn't there to be like, yo, whoa, hold on. Let's just have security get her kicked out or something. But no one said that. No one suggested that. So hey, it's my fault because I chose to do that. But but anyway, I did these podcasts on the West Coast, and like somehow, some way, sometimes, even if it wasn't a political podcast, like I forget how it would come up. It might have been me bringing the shit up. I think the way it happened on Rhodium was they were talking about that Mexican singer from Washington who went to Mexico, didn't have no media training, and basically they basically proceeded to tell Mexican journalists that Mexican food was mid and that they prefer chicken nuggets. Right. And so we were talking about how they tried to cancel that girl and her brothers, the band. And I think that's how I kind of got on the subject of like, yo, she's like a teenage girl, and they're making her go through the struggle session. And she might not be built for this, like to be when you're getting attacked from all angles. She might not know how to comprehend like what a hit piece is, fake news, persuasion, groupthink, just the nature of social media. She's like a kid, and it's almost as if it's almost like the entire school is bullying her. That's probably what it felt like, but it was like just the internet. Like the weight of raza on the internet, and how raza loves to have these sacred cows of you are not allowed to say anything bad about Mexican food. You know what I mean? It's like Jesus, bro, relax. But sorry, dude, you asked me like, I think you asked me how do I keep up with the shit on the road?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's so funny when you see it click. You're like, wait a minute, I was answering a question. No, but hey, real quick, you mentioned struggle session. Did you see the Carlos Santana story that was going around here recently about at a show where he was talking about a man's a man, a woman's a woman kind of thing?
And then he apologized, right?
Yeah, and the next day he put an apology out there, which allegedly he may or may not have, or some representative may have done it for him. But I saw the video of him on stage, and it was very like, it wasn't anti-trans, it wasn't anti-anything. It was like, look, this is this, that is that. When you get older, do your thing. I don't care what you do when you get older. Almost like saying like, leave the kids alone without actually saying the sentence, leave the kids alone. And yeah, man, that was a bummer. Like he said, it's just an honest statement. And then the headline, I don't know if it was Rolling Stone, whoever it was, the headline read that like, it even though it happened a couple of months ago, the video has resurfaced and has outraged people on the internet. And when I read stuff like that, I'm like, what did it outrage? 6 people somewhere that nobody cares about?
I mean, the news is so damn fake.
So fake.
That they had to go make it. They had to go make it resurface. Like, it's trippy, bro. Like, it's so fascinating to see how these revolutions happened in the past, like cultural revolutions, Marxist revolutions. Of like, it fits the perfect template of let's weaponize this minority group. Let's tell them that they're being genocided and they don't have rights and they're being oppressed, and find a way to just divide people and just keep pulling at that thread that just makes your society just crumble to pieces as you brainwash a generation. You know what I mean? Like, it just fits perfect with history repeating itself. And I guess like from Santana's perspective, like I don't know how hardcore he is, like Mr. I'm not apologizing for shit. But even though he's probably worth $100 million, it's unfortunate that artists and public figures get put in these situations where you're having to factor in how everything has been politicized. Like everything is political. I'm trying to think of an example. Um, Man, what was it? Oh, I know what it was. I think it was a Mike Cernovich tweet where he basically was saying how like it just no longer makes sense to use the argument of like I'm just gonna stay out of things because sports, religion, and politics is just a messy thing, and it really, really is. Like that's why those interviews, like I approach them from the aspect of like, of course, sure, I'm trying to be persuasive, but at the same time, it's like I'm totally fine with you having your TDS and you like watching MSNBC all day or being closed-minded raza and feeling like you're a victim. Hey, it's a free country. It's a free country. You could believe what you want, but like the name callers, like I mentioned earlier, like you literally have no evidence, and these like name caller type people, they try to use like this asymmetrical warfare where they could just lob an insult of a grenade, basically put a jacket on you that now you have to, no, I'm not, you got to like prove and take off this jacket. But again, I managed to go off subject, sir.
No, it was like it's interesting because when you go on these interviews, like you are very mindful about that kind of stuff. Like you're able to, as I've just kind of watched them in the past, when you go on tour and you do a show or whatever, it comes up and somebody asks you something, you're I don't know if you do it consciously or subconsciously, but you answer the questions and you are still simultaneously mindful that you're not just kind of just leap over the line and completely, I don't know if offend is the right word, but just like you almost can't give them too much than they can handle. Already, most answers that you give them are going to go over people's head. Why? Because they're not paying attention to this kind of stuff. But they read a headline, they're headline readers, and they thought, let me ask Chingo about this just to see what he's going to say, just to see how crazy he's going to get about his answer. But knowing, and most people that listen to this show probably know that we know 80-90% more about most of these subjects because we just have more interest in it. I don't know. We spent more time reading about it, listening about it.
Yeah, we have like different sources.
Yeah.
And of course, like you just said, like the amount of energy of just trying to figure out what all the arguments are and what makes sense. And all the raza that's still hardcore, like, nah, homie, the Democrats are for the people, bro. Like, I wonder if it would blow their mind or what they would say if you were to just sit one of them down and be like, all right, bro, check this out. You check out this gender ideology and how weird it is and how many genders they're saying and these things that they're trying to do, what they're trying to like, put in the school books, like whatever. If you like show them that and be like, all right, and it's the team you keep rooting for, like, and again, the unfortunate thing is that the Republicans suck like crazy.
Yeah.
You got a lot of, they're spineless. Y'all could have been impeached somebody, anybody, you know what I mean? Like, half of y'all, first of all, you got all these the goofies up there when they had their debate. It's like 80% of y'all don't even got no business being up here.
No.
And y'all wouldn't dare say that there were some shenanigans in the last election, and there's gonna be again. And y'all, like, they're literally arresting the forerunner, the front runner, the front runner. El Toyota. Like they're literally arresting this dude, and y'all up here talking about I don't know what. So,
do you know
that
Do you remember a long time ago? This is probably pre-2016, where Chuck Schumer was on with Rachel Maddow, and he's talking. They're talking about Trump. I think he hadn't been elected yet, or he had been elected, but he wasn't in office yet. And she says something about the intelligence agencies, and Chuck Schumer, with this kind of like smile, says, "Well, if you want to go head to head with the intelligence agencies, they have all these ways to get back at you. 10 ways from Sunday, I think is the name of the video." And that hasn't gotten that of all things that have resurfaced in the past have not resurfaced enough times for people to just kind of remember constantly that They said this out loud. They know that this is exactly what they planned to do from the beginning, from 2016, 2015 to now. And yeah, like that is as blatant as like, let's put it this way. If you just look at what's happened over the last month, just the last 30 days to the front runner of the Republican Party, and you go back 5 years, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like they've been trying to do this since day one. It's so obvious.
Well, it's obvious to us, you know what I mean? So, like I was saying, like if you actually broke down to a layman, normie, I'll just use raza as an example, right? I'm generalizing because not all raza thinks alike, but your typical NPC, all up in the chat comments, calling Chingo Bling a sellout. It's like, all right, bro, these people, they're the ones talking about birthing persons and bonus holes. You know, they're the ones that think grown biological men could be all up in the girls' locker room. You know what I mean? Like
I
just
think I,
someone is
I think I just saw Supreme Court. I forgot what state they're gonna allow a biological male into a sorority.
ridiculous, bro. Like I don't know how that's gonna pan out. But like if you broke that down to people, they'd probably be like, yeah, well, Republicans want to take away a woman's right to choose, and
Right.
they're a right-wing Christian, you know, or the worst thing is where people just throw out random blanket terms and don't really know how to process, or you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like no evidence, just like fascist Nazi, Hitler something or other, because you're fascist,
You,
yada yada. Or
there
when
was
they're
a.
like, mhm.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, just like the just last examples, like, or when people are like, "Well, yeah, that's because Trump's racist and Republicans are anti-black," and it's like, okay, what's an example of him being racist? It's like, well, I mean, I gotta go, and I don't really have time for this.
There's this picture that Jackie from HTX Kid First posted of the teacher that's got the ban the fascist save the books shirt on. Did you see this by chance? So I think she was let me see, this English teacher from Tompkins High School. So it's Katie ISD, is not in favor of the gender policy and has asked for an army to attend. This was last night, to attend tonight and support this. She believes gender identification should be kept from the parents.
What like, hold on. Where do they get off on, like, why are these teachers doing stuff and saying stuff that's so anti-parent? Like, I guess they truly believe that. I mean, it just be looking like grooming and Marxism, and there's like a lot of reasons I could think of. Like, bitch, you're just a fucking activist with an
Yeah.
agenda, and you're trying to be these kids' friend and give them their safe space, um and it's like, why can't y'all see how anti-parent this is? It's like, no, 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 we're meeting the children where they are, and want to make sure that they're safe. Almost like they just always lean on the side of the parents are not good for the kids, and we have to save these kids from their parents so they could be their true authentic selves. And it's like, y'all are the ones confusing the kids, mixing up their brain with all this queer theory bullshit that y'all made up in some academia. Okay, is that her right there?
Yeah. With her U of H banners in the background.
Ban the fascists, save the books. You talking about these books that my wife just read on her lounge podcast?
Let's
I
talk about
mean, dude, I mean, perverted as books. She was telling, we just had lunch real quick, and she was telling me some of the stuff that oh my god.
it. What?
It's like, never go ass to vulva. Butt germs can really screw up a vulva. Anyway,
Are those the ones that are in libraries or?
yeah, they're like accessible to middle schools, even though it's supposed to be like a teen thing. They're talking about dental dams and masturbation, in detail, like how, and all these different. Oh wow! Oh wow! Yeah, this is very detailed. I turned a page, and you can't even show this on Zoom, bro.
Yikes.
Look at this. Whack it against your palm or give it some gentle bending pressure. Tug or squeeze on your balls. If you have a foreskin, play with it. Bro, this is very graphic. Look at this one. Apply broad pressure to the outside of the entrance. Yeah. This is the public episode. This is supposed to be like, dude, I don't know, man.
Well, on the other side of books, you have I saw Myra Flores posted, on that's all about kids and the sexuality thing. And then she posted this video of I think it was Chiapas, Mexico, where they were burning books that they deemed taught communism and homosexuality and other kind of like inappropriate things for kids. And did you see this video by chance?
No.
Here, I'll play it for you. It's just a quick little clip. And I'll read it to you here. They thought that because some of the books wouldn't burn, that it was the devil in the books because the books weren't burning in the pile.
Wow.
Let me cue it up for you. Boom.
Queremos puñales.
Yo, Chiapas is based.
Yeah, so it says the community of the indigenous, whatever the Chiapas tribe or whatever word is, I can't pronounce it here. Where the books were burned, primarily evangelical Christian families said the books teach communism and homosexuality to the youth. The textbooks did not burn well, which led some protesters to accuse them of being from the devil.
Well, I don't know about that part, but but in essence, yes, it is, because I mean they're just trying to inch away at sexualizing things, sexualizing kids, normalizing certain things, trying to circumvent what how the parents want to guide and educate their kids. And obviously, man, like for example, another example of teachers doing questionable stuff is there was I think it might have been Lives of TikTok. It was like a gender fluid type of teacher. I think it might have been a she, but she kind of had like the boy type of cut. And obviously the room had all the symbolism, iconography of these ideological movements, right? Trying to make their kids baby Antifa, social justice warriors, right? So in the classroom, she has like couches, or he, whatever. There's couches, dim lighting, like replaced the type of lighting, and then has many books that we can share. So it's like almost like a little like cozy study hall type of vibe. And it's like, hey man, cut these lights on. Why y'all getting comfy on the couch? And what books? Okay, you bragging about your book collection. Let me find out let's talk about it in your book collection. So I don't know, man. Like, I think most teachers, I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt, most teachers just want to teach, and not groom. They want to just mind their business, educate these bad kids with not all the resources that they probably need, and then go home and try to have a life and get ready to do it the next day. Unfortunately, maybe that profession, because it is around kids so much, or for whatever reason, it tends to attract sometimes these type of like fresh out of college, young, they already got some of these type of activist agenda type of ideology, and you're literally taking a gamble, like sending your kids to some of these schools.
Yeah.
It's like a Russian roulette.
Yeah, we've become a lot like really involved in the kids' school, which has been interesting, and it's kind of been like just refreshing to see like how many parents are like involved, and they want to make sure that it's just school and it's education, it's nothing else, and as long as it's that, like everybody's cool. The parents are cool, the kids enjoy what they're being taught, and the teachers are also enjoying what they're doing. And then you go to other places, or at least you just kind of observe what's going on, especially like, dude, when you think of KDISD, you think of anywhere outside of the burbs of Houston. Like, you really don't think that this is going to present itself, but next thing you know, it's literally everywhere.
Oh, so there were some things, right? The KDISD,
Yeah, that was one of them, right? So that was
the
that teacher.
teacher.
And then you had this there was a fifth grade survey. Did you see this picture of a fifth grade survey where on it, here, I'll just show it to you. It asks like what the kids' pronouns are and who they want you to use them with. So they had circled them here like my pronouns are, and then circle them like he, him, his, she, her, hers, they, them, and then use my pronouns with family, peers, school admin, nobody, right? Just creepy, just like a youth.
Question,
What?
question, man. Who issued this student survey?
The teacher, I believe. It says Morgan Calhoun, trustee for KDISD, shows in her stories. What an idiot. Oh, it's right here. It's Calhoun for KDISD. Shows in her Instagram stories proof that the elementary school in the district is asking about pronouns. This is what they are voting about tonight. Oh, okay. This was last night again. I wonder how this turned out. To remove this, or one
Fifth grade.
grade. Yeah.
I mean, our kids already are up against so much, just the nature of the world.
Yeah.
And they're literally under attack for their little minds. And parents, like the family is under attack. Parents are having to like try to make ends meet with Bidenomics. And at the same time, they gotta supervise every little handout and every little detail. Not to mention, a lot of times these kind of teachers they're trying to keep stuff behind parents' backs. Like that's a big argument. Like in LA, they're protesting like crazy. The like Armenian parents and like Lexit, Gil, American Cholo, like all these different groups and organizations of parents and concerned citizens. They're having to go make their voices heard. So like I said, man, like not even the burbs. Like Katy is known for having one of the better school districts in the Houston area, like Pearland, like people you hear, a lot of these suburban type of school districts compared to HISD, which it's not all bad, but you're having to do all this crazy research. And when we dropped off, well, did the whole meet the teacher thing for Penny's kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I walk up in there like I'm like trying to see where y'all hiding the flags at. You know what I mean? I'm walking around like looking for clues
Yeah.
of brainwashing, gender ideology. What books is that over there?
Well,
You
speaking
know?
of flags too, there was a video this morning going around on everybody's page about the kid with the Gaston flag patch on his backpack. Bro,
Yeah.
the teacher or whoever that was, I think it was a teacher, but it might have been some other administrator, didn't even know the whole like what the meaning of the Gaston flag was, didn't understand that it had no ties to what she was saying was like slavery, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, and I can't help but watch this stuff, and it like I already had a headache from this cold or whatever, but it gives you even more of a headache when you understand that these people are oblivious to so many things, and they're the ones that are supposed to be teaching your kids.
And then all of a sudden they're anti-flag.
Yeah, right.
It's like y'all just finished introducing 52 different goddamn flags with different colors and statements and phrases, not knowing that a lot of it is just Marxist pseudoscience designed to divide our damn society. And now y'all attacking flags all of a sudden. All they know is that, hey, some people on the right be wearing that shit. That's all they needed to know. That's it. That's all they needed to know. They don't need to know what does it mean, who, what, when, where.
So talking about schools, which by the way, if you need to get a water, you can go grab a water.
Nah, that's way downstairs, bro. I already chugged my water.
Okay, all right. Well, we only got like 5 more minutes on the public episode, but since we're talking about families and the destroying of the families further, right? I had to pull up this just Google real quick the amount of mothers back in the workforce because I saw a couple of videos about it just the other day. And and this is actually from the White House. So since the disruptions of the C-19 pandemic, mothers with children under 18, basically just mothers of young children rejoining the workforce after they had left it, has jumped up to 70% as of March 2023. So what does that do also for the family when the mom's got to go back to work?
You probably gonna have latchkey kids.
Exactly.
Um, your kids spending more time at the daycares, and
Yeah.
now you really rely on public school because they're gonna watch them for you till 3.
Yeah. Or
um,
or 6 or 5, or however long the extended is.
yeah. Um, shit. I mean, it's like moms are gonna have way less time with their kids. Families are probably gonna have way less dinners together.
Yeah.
But Bidenomics, it's working, Rob. Hey, at least he's not racist. Hey, better than the last guy. How many times I that's really what trips me out, bro. It's like, how bad does stuff have to get for you to just kind of like humble yourself and peep game and at least recognize like the orange one wasn't as bad. You know what I mean? Like, who was it? Was it? Oh, I think it was 97.9 The Box on their Instagram where they were posting a video, and you hear the female DJ, and she was saying like, uh, why did Trump get banned and Young Thug didn't? And da 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 da. Like basically, like it just sounded very anti-Trump. And I'm just like, man, would it kill y'all to just get with the culture? You know what I mean? Like, y'all are so dated right now with the culture because a lot of people rock with this dude. Like, dude, there's a rapper named Benny the Butcher from New York State, and he raps really, really good. You could just like nerd out and just get on YouTube and look at like a compilation of his freestyles when he's on radio stations. And it's like, even he was like, no, I'm gonna vote for Trump. Like, y'all bullshitting. A whole bunch of people. But unfortunately, the Charlemagnes and
Yeah.
even the ones that are like, well, I don't like Joe either. It's like, okay, cool, neither do I. But like, what are you basing the like your hatred for Trump? What are you basing it on now exactly? Like, how bad does this regime have to do it for y'all to start really paying attention?
Yeah, I would say, at this point, now that we're going into 2024, like we're entering fall 23, things have really ramped up. If you could just tell them, anybody on the left or anybody that's like super vote blue no matter who, that still don't really like what's going on, but they rather vote for this guy, just put this on the table and say, look, we've had 4 years of Trump, which really was like 3.5, 3 years because of all of the, craziness. And then you had what I can't believe we're going to say is 4 years of Joe Breezy. I can't believe that he's made it, he's going to make it all the way through and then run again, supposedly. Let's compare and contrast just those two administrations. And then let's swing it back over to Trumpy, and to the orange man, see how bad he really was. And then if Joe wants to run again when he's 100, he can run again for another 4. Like, let's just compare and let's A/B test everything. The culture, we'll test, the economy, everything.
Yeah, but people are basing their opinions on like weird headlines of like, well, let's not forget. You know what I mean? Like, let's not forget in 1983 or whatever. It's like Trump put out an article saying that he wanted the Central Park 5 to be
Yeah.
prosecuted, and the then the since then exonerated, falsely accused, yada yada yada. I mean, he's obviously a white supremacist, Chingo. You know what I mean? It's like, or they were raping, somebody was raping somebody in the park. and people in New York were getting fed up, and somebody had to put an ad out and spend some of that shmoney and say, we tired of y'all acting a fool in Central Park, and back the police. You know what I mean? I think that's really what the ad was about. Was like, crime is too high. We need law and order. We got to start backing the police and being tough on crime. But people just took it as he doesn't like black people.
Hey, so since we're wrapping up talking about this KDISD stuff, I went back to the ATX Kids First Instagram, and they had posted this screenshot from somebody's phone where it was like, breaking news, it's Channel 2, Houston. KDISD board votes to accept transgender students' pronouns. And then somebody in the comments said, "Accept quote is a twist. They accepted the policy that accepts the kid's wishes, but they will still tell the parent. So it's half true. The media loves to spin half truths." So I had to look it up, and I mean, I'm just reading the headline again. We're being headline readers here, but KDISD Board of Trustee votes to accept new policy for how district will address transgender students.
So basically, we can use your pronouns, but we're also going to tell your parents.
I think that's more so what it is. Yeah.
Mm. Man, my heart goes out to the parents who,
Yeah.
I mean, because I think there's two different types, or maybe three. So one type of them parents are the ones that are like encouraging some alcahuetes, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they're the ones really got a mental health issue, and they trying to get these little bitty kids to go along with their charade. And then you got the ones that are like, well, unfortunately, the doctor said, either you're gonna have a daughter or a dead little boy,
Right.
these fake suicide facts. And then you got the other parents that just shut it down and aren't gonna play that game. You know what I mean? But either way, in all three of those situations, it's like it's very unfortunate y'all even having to deal with that.
Yeah, it's a quick little write up on the website, but it's the board of trustees, which whoever these people are, I don't even know what these people's qualifications are to be on a board of trustees for a school district, but they have disagreements. It was a 4-3 vote split, and they're talking about each other to Channel 2 News about how, well, Morgan Calhoun said Fox, which I guess was another person, did nothing for years, being presented with evidence over evidence, and you did nothing, so now it's our turn. I don't know. I guess it must have had uproars about a couple of students that wanted this change, and now it's like a whole district wide thing. I don't know.
Damn. That cabrón, man.
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's super crazy.
And the funny thing is, like, I'm pretty sure the Amish don't have any of these issues. I mean, there's probably people in other countries that are like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? It like, for whatever reason, they're just trying to like use it to destroy the West or something, because it's only certain countries that are all of a sudden are having these. It's an epidemic. Oh, we have no idea why. Oh, we don't even know why. It's just so common. And it's like, well, because you pulling your pom-poms out just because Jenny might want to be Jimmy. You know what I mean? And all the society and all the companies and the symbolism and the parades and the encouragement of the "you're so brave." And since a lot of these families like don't really give the kids anything of substance to identify with or have as part of their, I guess, identity, the world is going to find a way to provide that. So if you just have your kids being a little empty vessel of nothing to really stand behind, somebody's going to assign it to them, and they're going to be like, oh, I think this is my thing because it just makes me feel good. Everyone's encouraging me. And it's like, I'm so brave.
Just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So dope.
I'm special now. I'm special. It's like I accomplished something when I really didn't. I stand out. I feel like I have like a group, like my identity. I'm part of this group now. Like, and people feel bad for me because I'm a victim, right? Because they're trying to genocide us. And I don't have rights. It's like, Jenny, you had all the rights up until yesterday.
Right, right. And what's crazy about all the social stuff for me is that like I've used to not for a long time I didn't get any YouTube recommendations for Breakfast Club stuff. It was out of my feed, out of my algorithm. All of a sudden, and I wasn't watching Vivek or anything on YouTube. I'd watch his clips on Instagram. And then all of a sudden I would get these Breakfast Club clips of him or of them in general, and then more with because like Larry Elder was on recently and then Vivek, right? And I don't know who this person is that they have that zooms in, some lady that is just super, super ignorant who just, stands on the fact that she was in I think the Navy or something like that, or not Navy, but whatever it was. She was in the military and talks, really fast in a very condescending way to just sound smarter. And she sounds like an idiot, man. And it's so frustrating. But then you go to the comments and they're like, most of them are like, she sounds really ignorant. She doesn't sound like she knows what she's talking about. So
Yeah,
I think that's promising.
yeah, for sure. And we'll just end it with this. I think when Larry Elder was a guest on there, they were talking about some type of injustice, like systemic, and how, the white man this and the white man that. And somehow, some way, I think Larry Elder brought up an example of a city where you had all these bad things happening to black people. He's like, and the chief of police is black, and this person's black, and the mayor, and the entire city council, and this, and they're all black, and it's one of the worst people for black people, one of the worst places for black people, or something. They're like, yeah, but the system
Yeah.
is systemically set up by white people. And just because you got a black chief police and a black mayor and a black judge and a black DA and a black this, those are just positions, but they don't truly hold any power. It's like, so they don't have the power to be corrupt or take bribes or abuse their power or be negligent, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he broke down the welfare state really well too, and that's why he was like, Lyndon B. Johnson, this, that, and the other, and she's like, but who actually, ran that administration, right? What were they, right? And he was like, well, yeah, they were white, but still, he's just nah, yeah, but they were white, right? It's like, what? You could tell he just wanted to be like, what are you talking about?
got to pray for the ignorant, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the public episode. If you want a deeper dive, man, if you want to get that more intimate, exclusive episode where we could really let loose, you already know, man. Patreon.com/Red Pill Tamales. And love meeting members of the TIA out on the road. My next stop is San Diego, September 1st and 2nd. I believe that's Labor Day weekend, big dime.
Yeah, it is, man. That's correct. Wait, September 1st, you said?
Yeah, September 1st and
Oh,
2nd.
this Friday. What's up? Okay. Damn, you're back on the road again.
Back to California, bro. Yep. Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much. And members of the TIA, we'll holler at you tomorrow. Peace.
Adios.